name is Kenny Daou, and I'm the pre-sales lead for Gulf and Levant in HPE. So thank you all for taking the time to join this conference. So I have 20 minutes to talk about some trends in the industry about data-first modernization. What actually is it? What are the challenges for data-first modernization and the advantages that can bring you or can bring to the enterprise or the government or the entities? So, what is the challenge today? We have been talking a lot about digital transformation over many years, right? However, the true definition of digital transformation has changed a lot. So it started maybe with simple digitization when we transferred from paper to digital. But right now, there is something else, something new that is fueling the digital transformation. What we are seeing right now is that there is a challenge. We call it the digital transformation divide. Some leaders in the industry, they are generating tons of revenue, and there is a huge divide between the rest of the world, let's call it this way, and the leaders which have sprinted to generate more and more revenue. This is what it's called, the digital transformation divide. Why is that? What those leaders know in the digital industry is that data is actually the life force. Everyone is talking about data right now and the importance of it. To do what? To focus all of our strategy on the data itself, to make sure that we can provide the right information to do the analytics, to store it in the appropriate way, and to generate revenue. It allows us to see what we call around the corners, those hidden places where we can really generate the revenue out of this data that we have been collecting for many years instead of sitting idle. But there are challenges when it comes to data, when we want to focusing on the data-first modernization. What are those challenges? What those leaders are asking? What are the questions? So in the data center, we have something called multi-generational IT. So our data is trapped inside, for example, legacy system, some new system, multiple infrastructure, multiple locations. It's scattered everywhere, right? So how can we bring all of these multi-generational IT into a modern platform? That's one. Second, huge amount of data we have been collecting. Maybe it's residing on tapes somewhere. Now it is the time to put it back to work. How can we get the value out of this huge petabytes worth of data that is residing inside our data center? And last but not least, we want to have the freedom to deploy the analytics, the workloads, to have data mobility from the on-prem infrastructure to the cloud. Next is what I said earlier is that now what is fueling the digital transformation is the data-first modernization. When we switch our thinking from infrastructure first to data first. Everything that we do, the strategy, the purchase, the store, the governance of it should be focused on the data itself. Okay? So the problem right now, if we go back 10 years ago, we all thought that the world is gonna be cloud-based, right? We had, or you had, everyone had, a cloud-first mindset. We want to move to the cloud. Is this the reality today? Definitely not, right? For many reasons, actually more than 70% of the current applications cannot be moved to the cloud for many, many reasons. Governance, security, real-time processing. So what is happening is that, and definitely we know this, we're adopting a hybrid cloud approach where we're bringing the cloud experience to the on-prem. And when I say on-prem, it's not only the main data center. There is a new player in town called the edge. Anyone knows what is the edge? Or have you heard about the term edge before? Can I see maybe raising hands? Yes, We have one. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. So the edge is where the data is being generated, okay? We want to be as close as possible to where the data is being generated. It can be a smart car. It can be a drilling machine inside the ocean or in the ocean somewhere. It can be an IoT device, right? So right now, we are bringing, instead of moving to the cloud, we are bringing the cloud experience to the data center and to the edge, the faraway edge. And according to IDC, more than 70% of the data in 2025 will be generated from the edge. We want to collect it. We want to analyze it. We want to have one single visibility on this data wherever it resides. So, the data challenges that we are facing today. What are the data challenges? I spoke on certain data challenges previously. So one of them is that the data visibility. So if I have my data residing from the edge to the cloud and to the data center, how can I have one single visibility on top of this? How can I create multi-tenancy? Now we have different line of business, right? So we have different people, they want to access and they want to manipulate the data in different words. So if you see on top here, right now, most of the enterprise, if not implementing, are thinking about implementing artificial intelligence. They are hiring data scientists, data engineers, data analysts, right? I'm pretty sure that here, while I'm speaking, you're thinking about what's happening in your enterprise right now and how are you hiring and opening positions for these type of personas inside the country, the enterprise. So the problem is that every single one of those personas, whether it is analyst, data scientist, data engineer, they want to access the data in a different way, in different protocol, and they have different performance needs as well. So what usually happens is that we store certain type of data on one single platform. Let's call it the big data lake, which maybe all of you know or are familiar with the naming, right? So the big data lake is where we bring this raw data and just store it there. Next, we need to make it in one standardized format or multiple formats to be able to access it. And what we usually do is that we take this data from the lake and then we put it in a data warehousing platform. Okay? So you can see that from life cycle perspective, the data is coming and then we're putting it in the big data lake and then we have to copy it to a data warehouse to analyze it and in order to start getting some insights and doing some queries on top of it. So what if we can have one single platform which is bringing the best of both worlds? What if you can get this data, put it on one single platform that can support multiple protocols, that can serve those personas and allow you to apply security measures for every single persona that is utilizing this data? And what if we can have the visibility of the data wherever it's residing? A lot of the challenges that we face is that every single, in a huge enterprise or company, we have multiple departments. And sometimes if we take this to a government scale, we have different ministries. And every ministry has the right to keep its own data, right? And does not want to share this. But if we think of what we talked about earlier, that we cannot have trapped data. This is a loss for us. Now, if I'm going to have a digital government, I need to have visibility on different entities, on different ministries, on the data that is there. However, there is a solution without the need to copy this data to one single place, to tap into it, to just see it, and be able to query it without actually having to copy this to one single place, wherever it's reside. And this is what we still have one single source of truth. Because if we copy this data and we're working on it, maybe it's gonna get outdated. Maybe it's gonna get manipulated and changed. However, if we tap on this data on the source itself, then we are managing and we are dealing with a single source of truth. And this is one of the huge challenges that we are facing. On top of this, now we got this data, we put it on one platform, we unified it, now everyone is able to access it. This is great, but access it to do what? To do analytics, right? So we have the analytics challenges now. We dealt with the first problem. Now the second one is the analytics itself. How can I have some analytics platforms and analytics tools that, first of all, they need to be open? So whenever you're hiring a data engineer, a data scientist, you can see that their background experience is with open tools, with open source tools. So what if I can have those tools on a platform that gives me the, let's say, App Store-like experience where I can, in single click, deploy the analytics using those open tools or customized, actually, customized applications on-prem, right? And without having those vendor lock-in. So you have the full choice to do your analytics on the data, wherever it's residing, and most of all, you have the ability now to bring this mobility to the data and to the analytics, to move it from the edge to the cloud to the platform using those modern analytics application and most of all, the open source tools. So, the 5 key to data-first modernization. What should we be thinking about? So, number 1 is that data is really our core, right? And we have to have full control. Even if it's disarrayed or distributed across many entities, many government entities. So the first thing that we need to focus on is to have full control and full visibility. Next, is that we need to be accessible, right? As I mentioned earlier, wherever it resides, I need to have it to access it, even without the need to copy it and create multiple copies and management headache of the data itself. So trapped data is a disadvantage. We need to move away from this. Third is a topic that was previously highlighted, is that data governance, data security. How can I protect this data? To put the right tools and the right policies in place in order to make sure that I am protecting this critical data without creating a huge amount of additional capacity on my data center. So most importantly, the fourth one is that to embrace the cloud-first model. So think about the cloud not as a destination, but actually as an experience. How can I bring the simplicity of the cloud to my environment, to my data center, without having to move the data to the cloud because I cannot for many reasons I talked about earlier. So how can I have one single experience with the simplicity of the cloud across all my data wherever it's residing? And last, data is in multiple operating models. It needs to be accessed in multiple protocols, and we need to make sure that we make it easy as well. So, when we think about building the modern AI platform and analytics platform, and maybe just I want to take a pause here and go back one step back. So maybe you're thinking, what is HPE talking about? HPE is a hardware vendor, right? Yes, we assist in the hardware platform, but also we are not a hardware platform. We have a software, a modern software that you can see here that allows you to accelerate your data-first modernization. So HPE is transforming from the infrastructure vendor, and we have been doing this for the past 3 years, to something called the edge to cloud company. So we have a platform HPE now is transforming to one single platform where you can start consuming services, softwares to your on-prem environment. Okay, we are not definitely competing against the hyperscalers. We are not saying we have our own cloud, give us your data. Definitely not. We are telling you, keep your data on-prem, and we will bring this experience to you, whether for analytics, for infrastructure management, etc. So going back here, the modern AI software, what it should look like. It should be hybrid by design, and this is answering the challenges and the data-first modernization best practices. So you can see that it should be hybrid by design. I can deploy it wherever I want. It should be 100% open, no vendor lock-in. I can deploy it on any infrastructure I want. And I can use the tools that are open source, that my data scientists, data engineers are familiar with. And I can customize and bring my own applications to one single place. Next, it should be extensible. It should make it easy for me to customize it, as I mentioned earlier, and to utilize it along the way. Should not give me some, let's say, some headaches in order to customize certain applications or even deploy them. And last but not least, to have this consistent experience, this cloud experience that I was talking about, wherever the data is residing. And this is what we can bring, and this is what we can help with on top of the expertise to allow you to use such a platform and deploy it based on the best practices. So, couple of examples, what we have done with other industries. And you can see here, so the first industry in the fintech industry actually, which is FIS. So FIS is it's actually the largest payment processing platform in the world. So per day, they process around $10 trillion, over 9 billion transactions, 79 billion transactions. And they are powered by a platform that HPE is providing in the background to be allowing them to, number one, be able to process this data, and at the same time, to generate the value out of this data, out of these transactions that are happening on every single day. We are powering this platform. Seagate, do you know Seagate, right? So we are helping Seagate to do what? On every single day, what they are doing is that, or what we are doing with them. So whenever they're manufacturing some equipment, they are taking 15 million images per day. And imagine that in real time, you have to process those images. To do what? Whenever they're doing the manufacturing of the devices or the equipment, there is a camera that is taking, a photo, for example, of the motherboard. And if something is wrong, an AI engine in the background is immediately checking this motherboard or this image instantly, because this is a production environment, so we cannot wait. So it's checking if there is something wrong, highlighting it, and moving it to, for example, more quality of service instead of just continue the production environment. 15 million images per day. Again, this is powered by HPE platform in the background, allowing Seagate to do this on a daily basis and an extremely fast way.
Mr. Kini, 2 minutes left.
Sorry?
2 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm done. So, Worldline is also another payment company. We are helping them process 5.1 billion payment transactions per day. And last but not least, we work with the major 3 autonomous cars, European autonomous cars. Do you have an estimation per day, an autonomous car, how much data does it generate? Any estimation, just roughly? So, per day, an autonomous car can generate data. It depends on how autonomous it is, but it can generate from 5 to 20 terabytes per day of worth of data. So you can imagine how big their data lake is. We are talking more than 30 petabytes of data on one single platform. we are working with Zenseact, which is powering Volvo autonomous cars, in order to accelerate the development of the AI software. And you know very well that in autonomous car, taking immediate action is extremely, extremely critical. So what if someone is actually crossing the road and then the car decided not to stop, right? This cannot happen. So the platform where HPE is helping Zenseact is in the background to process this data in real time, and also not in real time because they need to train the system to make it more and more mature. Last but not least, HPE in-house, you know that we are a company of 65,000 employees, and we have many, many departments and a huge amount of data. So what happened in those past 3 years is that we created an initiative to transform our inbuilt IT. So we had to actually hire someone called a data negotiator, you know? So this data negotiator was talking to every single department in order to make them agree just to open themselves, not to share the data and to move it from one place to the other, but at least to have one common platform where we can generate. For us, it will allow us to have one single ERP system that will give us 360 views about all the transactions and the products and the manufacturing supply chain, allowing us to develop some AI systems on top. So this is in HPE in-house. So where can you start? This is my last slide. So you can start from the edge if you have multiple branches, if the edge is something that is actually important to you, and definitely it should be on your agenda. So to securely connect it, to have the zero trust architecture on the edge, to create a hybrid cloud experience. So we need to start thinking, what am I doing today? Do I have a lot of siloed environment? How can I, instead of moving to the cloud that I cannot again and again, how can I bring this experience to on-prem? How can I turn my data into intelligence and generate value out of it? And last but not least, most important, and this is the topic of today, which is the security, right? How can I protect myself against ransomware and deploy best practices? And definitely we can help in that. You can visit us in our booth in HPE, the HPE booth. So thank you so much for your time, and this is it for me. I'm happy to take some offline conversations.